Bandit and I just stopped at this rest area on the way to Albuquerque to meet my niece and her husband for dinner. And I was looking back behind the rest stop, and out in the middle of this field is this huge monolith. And there's no sign or anything, and there's no way to get back there to see what it is. So I asked the caretaker that was on the grounds, and he said it had to do with the fort that is in the area. And I asked him what fort, and he's like, I don't know the name. So I'm gonna look that up, and crazy. I don't know what this thing is. Okay, so I found a way to get back behind the rest area. You can see it there on the right. And I'm gonna go up here and see if I can get into that road that leads to that monolith. Just how crazy is this? It has to do with Fort Craig, which is a national historical site. So I'm assuming this road will be open to the public. Let's go find out. Well, sure enough, there's a sign right there that says closed. But look at that thing. Can you see it? It's crazy. Here's a little turnaround. Let's see what it has to say. Now see, this is BLM land. And it shouldn't be closed. But like I have told you, most places now are closed to the public, even though it's public land. And I just don't get it. See, there's even a kiosk here that tells you all about this National Historic Trail on public land that's closed. Reading this sign, I'm going to read this sign to you. And this is a county road, so I'm assuming that that closed sign back there means that something else is closed further down the road, because this is a county road. There's all kinds of signs: speed limit, do not pass. And this sign tells you that 3 miles down the road is the El Camino Real International Heritage Center. Maybe that's what's closed. It says that 1.4 miles down the road is BLM Camino Lands Recreation Trail. Maybe some of the camping is closed, but I finally found what that sculpture is. It is called the Road of Dreams sculpture, and it was designed by New Mexico artist Greg Reike. I'm assuming I'm saying his name right. It's the gateway to the El Camino Real International Heritage Center. It soars 30 feet above the ground. I wish y'all could see this sign with me, I'm sorry. But it soars 30 feet above the desert floor. This steel and glass sculpture, okay, here's why I've decided to go down this road, invites travelers to step out of their vehicles and into the natural environment of the El Camino Real. So let's go explore the El Camino Real, shall we? Okay, I'm going to keep going down the road, but I found it. I stopped here at the sculpture, and this sign says that this monumental sculpture is one of the Cultural Corridor's public art projects along the El Camino Real National Scenic Byway. It was funded through the Cultural Corridor's art program of the state of New Mexico. And I bet they didn't intend on people not coming to see it. So I just don't understand this restriction and trying to make people not come to public lands. I mean, I get that people aren't responsible anymore and that people keep trashing places, but it's up to you and me to tell these people stop it. And when you see people doing it, you know, confront them, call the police, do whatever you need to do, but we have got to protect our public lands because things like this aren't getting seen. Nobody is here. Anyway, and it says the Cultural Corridor's art program was made possible through, and it lists like a dozen different organizations and people that made this happen, and it's everything from federal to state to local government and individuals. So anyway, let's walk up and see it. I'm going to get Bandit out of the vehicle first. Hi, baby. Want to go for a walk? Huh? Want to go for a walk? I bet you do. Let's go. And look at this gorgeous canyon that it sits on. And at the base of the sculpture, someone has even made a cross out of large rocks. It says curvy, 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 next 3 miles, my kind of road. Well, the center is obviously closed, and that must have been the caretaker's house. It's boarded up and empty. This makes me so sad. The sign says that it's closed Mondays and Tuesdays, but clearly it's closed full time. Probably a matter of funding. Please let your politicians know you want more dollars for public access and heritage and historical sites. I missed this sign here on the right coming in. Of course, it doesn't matter. This area is closed, but let me see what it says. Well, no wonder I missed the sign going in. It is hidden by bushes, and it is clearly where there used to be BLM camping, but it's closed now. And then there's a sign that says no off-road vehicles, and you can see that they had to put up rocks, and then down that lane there's 2 or 3 more signs, no off-road vehicles. So once again, I have no idea why this place closed. I assume it probably has something to do with funding and a combination of public access. But the fact that they have to put up multiple signs and rocks for off-road vehicles and saying no entrance and all of that, it's just another example of people not respecting and honoring our great lands. So cut it out, people, and those of you that do honor it, get after them. I don't know what else to say. This stuff like this just breaks my heart because it should be seen by a lot of people. Thank you for being on this journey with me, and I hope you enjoyed this little 3-mile detour. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and ring the bell so that you get notifications, and check out my Patreon page. It's how I stay in touch with everybody. Yesterday I shared with you the great monolith in the middle of the desert that I found. Even the state worker at the rest area didn't know what that monolith was or what it stood for. He thought that it had something to do with Fort Craig. Well, it had nothing to do with Fort Craig, but as I was leaving the monolith, I saw a sign that said Fort Craig Historical Site this way. So that's where we're going to go start today. About 2 miles down a very washboardy dirt gravel road, semi-gravel, I find this sign and was beginning to think maybe I had made a wrong turn. But it looks like I'm on the right path, and the sign at the highway before I turned off said Fort Craig Historical Site 7 miles. And I've gone now about 3.5, so I'm about halfway there. Might as well keep going. Let's see what we find. I hope this is an indication of some of the scenery that we're getting ready to see at the fort. We finally made it! We'll come back to the trail. I've got to go in the visitor center after coming this far. Going 5 miles an hour, 7 miles down this washboard road. I've been out here a while. So I made it here to the visitor center, and it is lovely, and I have enjoyed my visit here immensely with Fred. He is the host here, but he doesn't want to be on camera, so he's standing behind me. This seems to be all that's left of it now, but it sure was amazing back in its day. Let's go see what that masthead is. Did they have a ship out here? Duh me, that's not a masthead of a ship. That was the flagpole so that travelers could see where the fort was. It's getting hot, so I have to get Bandit back to the van. But here the trail just keeps going. And this place is just lovely. If you're in the area, come see it. Bandit found a baby horny toad. Can you see it? Okay guys, I'm gonna head over to the highway now. Even though this looks like a most unlikely route, according to Fred back at the fort, this will get me to the highway, and Google Maps says it will. So normally I would not trust Google Maps, but I trust Fred back at the fort, the host. Fred was right. Looky there. Here we go. Otherwise I'm going to be late to meet my niece for dinner. Came all this way. I don't want that to happen. So back to the highway, and I'll see my niece soon. Meat is on the grill, and I finally made it here, and thank you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And yeah, Cody was saying earlier it's been 2 years. That's right, Elizabeth, right?
Yep.
And you guys met them when we did a tour of their mini light rockwood.
Yep.
Yeah. See you down the road, you guys. And I tried to do interstate to get to Albuquerque to see my niece, but you miss so much when you're on the interstate. The road I'm on right now to go to the historical site parallels 25 for part of the way, but there's so much more off of it. So anyway, it says it's going to take me like 2.5 hours longer going this route, but I don't care. I can't do highways. I do back roads. Again, in the middle of nowhere, erected just out in a field, and I pulled over to see what it says. It says, in memory of the Texas Mounted Volunteers, Sibley's Brigade, and all unknown soldiers killed in the Battle of Val Verde, February 21st, 1862. And this monument in their memory was erected June 1st, 1936, out here in the middle of nowhere.